anytime I get the opportunity to represent to this industry or people in recovery, I'm honored to do so. And so thank you all for being here. I'd like to ask you all a question. How many of you know someone or know of somebody that has lost somebody due to addiction or mental health illnesses? If that's you, please raise your hand. And I did some research this morning. I was just curious. There's been over 307,000 deaths in the year of 2005 due to alcohol-induced deaths, suicide, and drug addiction. That's about 840 people per day. And I'm not here to kill the mood. I know we're here for business and scaling, but I think it's important to recognize the impact that the people in this room has, the lives that we have the ability to help. And all of you have chosen to help me on this mission to truly make a difference in the world. So for that, I'm grateful for you. So please give yourself a hand for that. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. If it's okay with you guys, I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself and how I got here. Is that cool? If that's cool, say that's cool. I want you to imagine a 5-year-old little boy. His terminally ill sister dies. His parents and entire family unit were destroyed as the result of. Parents divorced. Moms ended up in the arms of an abuser who ended up stabbing her 13 times, and she was hospitalized for 6 months. Only to get out of the hospital and get back in the same arms of that abuser. I was left to survive on my own, physically and emotionally. Years of neglect led me to a life of multiple juvenile detention visits, peaking October 8th, 2001, when I was proclaimed dead at the scene of a crime. Clearly, God had a different plan for me, yet I was still facing 25 to life. I want you all to listen closely. When things are their darkest, chance actually means choice. I chose a 12-step program. I chose a mentor. And because of this industry, I'm standing in front of all of you today with 24 years of sobriety. Thank you for that. And there was a time in my life when I got sober, when all of the trauma and all of the abuse that I went through started to reach its surface. I removed the addiction, I removed the alcoholism, I was no longer numb to my environment, and I started to misbehave in a lot of ways. And I was dealing with a lot of pain, a lot of resentment, a lot of bitterness. I didn't understand how I could have been treated that way as a child. I had a lot of resentments with my parents. And I used to always ask myself, why me? Why was I dealt that hand? And then I realized, after doing more work on myself, I started to pursue this path of healing. And what I found is through the path of healing, I started to recognize my own internal patterns. See, the formative years of your life is when the model of your world is established. Your belief systems are being developed. The way you view life is being established during that time. And that time during my life, I had a lot of limiting beliefs about myself. And I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know how to handle that. And so through my path of healing, I started to understand psychology and understanding performance psychology. Because I wanted to live a normal life like everybody else. I wanted to feel a certain way like everybody else. I wanted to be successful like everybody else in the room. But my blueprint didn't say it was possible for me. Maybe some of you are sitting in the room today operating a level of belief systems that aren't even yours. How many of you grew up and heard big boys, big girls don't cry? How about like money doesn't grow on trees? Tell me some other stuff that you heard growing up. Life's not fair. Get over it. Be a man. You get what you get. Don't get upset, right? So we have all these installed belief systems that we're operating from, and they still bleed over into adulthood and today. And so I would always ask myself, like, how the heck can I build a life that is beyond my wildest dreams? You hear it in recovery, but that just deals with one issue. It doesn't deal with all the other issues I had. And so through my path of healing, over 10,000 hours of course room work, facilitation, participation, I started to understand the mastery of life. See, once you master your psychology, you can master anything in life. You master your inner world. Someone say, if I master my inner world. Someone say, if I master my inner world, you'll get anything you want on your external world. And that's the mastery of psychology. And so then I started asking a different question. Instead of why did life happen to me, why has life been happening for me? And see, when God wants to make you powerful, he doesn't crown you first. He strips away all of your beliefs, all of your ideas, all of your plans, and he wants you to experience rawness. He wants you to experience what it looks like to build character. And so when I started my organization in 2013, it was a mom and pop organization. And I started it because I wanted to help my mom and my dad get sober. And both of them were patients at my program. Fast forward 13 years, here I am. We have 7 programs in 5 states, 508 beds, all inpatient. And the reason why I was able to scale is because I mastered the art of psychology, human behavior, the human condition, the operating system that everybody makes decisions from. If you want to master your life, you master psychology. And what is psychology? Psychology is the understanding of how humans think, how humans act, and how humans feel. And see, once you master psychology, you can start to influence relationships. And see, if you want to make a company better, you got to make the people in the company better. You want to make your company more valuable, make the people in your company more valuable. And I didn't know I was doing this along the way. I can say this today looking back, but that is the skill that I have mastered, is the art of psychology, the art of impact, the art of transformation. And now that I understand that is actually the foundation of anything in life, I'm excited that I went through what I went through with my parents. I'm excited that they took me through the gauntlet at an early age to prepare me for today. And what I'd like to do, I'd like to talk a little bit about pattern mastery. You guys got this slide? And this is what I found along the way. Pattern mastery, turning operational chaos into scalable performance. Who in here owns rehab centers? Okay. Who in here works at a rehab center? Okay. So a lot of this stuff may make sense to you, and you may start to see these patterns in your organization. See, everything in life is a pattern. All of us, 95% of what we do in life is running from an unconscious, habitual program. So your unconscious mind is constantly trying to predict what's next. And so it's doing what it thinks it's comfortable with. And so the environment that you're currently in is running from an operating system. I mean, think about the last time you slept on the opposite side of the bed that you're sleeping on. We wake up and habitually do the same thing over and over again. So I started to say, well, how can I see this from 30,000 feet? And how you do that is through patterns. Someone say patterns. Come on, someone say patterns. Okay, the reality of behavioral health. This is what I have found. Why this industry feels chaotic. How many of you have experienced census swings? If you've experienced census swings, say I have. If you've experienced payer pressure, say I have. If you've experienced staffing volatility, someone say, I have. If you've experienced compliant risks, someone say, I have. How about burned out leaders? Does anybody feel burned out ever? All right. And understand this is your psychology, right? Your emotional threshold will determine your level of success in life. How you feel emotionally is typically how you respond to life, the environment that you're in. Does this make sense, yes or no? The big lie most leaders believe: our problems are unique, We just need better people. How many of you business owners in the room literally get upset and look at your payroll and get mad and be like, I need better people? How many of you have said that? Like, honestly, I need better people. Once things calm down, we'll fix it. The truth is, chaos is not random. Chaos repeats itself. It's a pattern. It's habitual. Someone say habitual. So the first step in pattern mastery, someone say pattern mastery. The first step in pattern mastery is you have to see the pattern. You have to see what's going on. You have to take a moment and slow down and look under the hood. See, life mastery is all about being conscious of your unconscious program, which is your patterns, which is the habitual culture of an organization. You can reliably notice what's happening and what keeps happening without immediately explaining it away, judging it, or jumping to solution. So the first step is to see the pattern. Someone say see the pattern. Good job. The repeating operating pattern that I see, KPIs exist, but don't drive behavior. Because at the end of the day, a KPI exists based on a decision or the behavior of the employee. And a lot of times we have these KPIs, but then we're not changing the behavior that created the KPI. Meetings happen, but don't change outcomes. Leaders explain instead of execute. Problems reappear every 30 to 90 days. The owner becomes the system. And that was something that I had to learn myself. I was the chokehold in my business. I tried to do it all. Everything came through me. And it was extremely difficult to solve all the problems of the organization. I was not empowering people to grow. I was not empowering people to feel good about the things that they were up to. I was trying to control and micromanage everything. Well, that is no longer happening, and how you master that and how you scale is by developing a program and a system that can be tracked and monitored. See, the people don't fail, the system fails. How many of you know about football? How many of you watch football or know about football, the American sport, NFL? Yep. I'm sure you guys heard of the New England Patriots. Why did Bill Belichick get recognized as being one of the greatest? Is because he built a pattern. He built a system. He saw patterns, he built a system, and he took average players and plugged them in his system, and those players became better. Does this make sense, yes or no? Signal most leaders miss. The pattern is not the crisis. The pattern is how decisions get made, how often numbers are reviewed, who owns outcomes, what gets tolerated. Number two, someone say number two. Come on, someone say number two. Is understanding the pattern. You can explain why the pattern exists, its drivers, function, and mechanics, so it stops feeling random. Once you start to recognize what's going on, and you start to understand that you're dealing with a human condition, you start to understand you're dealing with human behavior, you start to understand that people are operating from their belief systems, you no longer judge your organization, you no longer get upset at the people that continue to do the same thing over and over again. You start to see it as a pattern, you start to understand it is a system. Someone say it's a system. Come on, someone say it's a system. Every organization is perfectly designed to reward certain behaviors, to tolerate certain misses, to avoid certain conversations. I know for me, there was a time early on growing my organization that I had a difficult time sitting down with somebody and holding them accountable. See, two things are going to happen in your business. How many? How many? Either you're going to adopt their beliefs or they're going to adopt your beliefs. Whoever's more certain wins. And so if you have a strong personality and you're unable to intervene or to be in team or to influence that person to make a different decision, it's going to be very difficult for you to have a different KPI. Does that make sense, yes or no? If your margins are unstable, your system is unstable, not your people. Because I was a guy that would blame the people over and over and over again. I would have turnover because I would just keep rinsing and repeating. That was my pattern. The person sucks, let's get a new one. And I'd stick the person in the same broken system, and then the person would fail. I was setting the person up for failure. And after losing some really good people, looking back, I said, damn, I was the problem. The system was the problem, not the people. One of the things that I found with hiring people, yes, skill is important, but what's even more important is their desire and hunger to learn. See, you know what determines your income in life? Your willingness to add value to the world in exchange to get paid for it. The key word is willingness. What are you willing to do for your people so they have the level of success and the tools that they need to be successful? The core operating pattern. All performances break down into 4 forces. How many forces? How many forces? If you're honest with yourself, how much better would your organization be if everybody had clarity? Better or worse? Better or worse? How about if your team executed all the time? Would your organization be better or worse? Better or worse? How about if you received feedback, you had open dialogues, you allowed the people at the ground level to give you feedback, gave you insights of what was going on? Do you think that would make your company better or worse? Better or worse? And then the people you have in the company, who can carry the load? If you miss one of these, chaos returns. This is why scale breaks. Growth without pattern control equals fragility. More beds equal more margin. More leaders equal more leadership. More meetings equal better decisions. Someone say, use the pattern. That's the last step. See, once you understand and see the pattern, and you understand the pattern, and you accept it for what it is, the mastery comes in creating and using it. Replicating what you've already learned. Use it to your advantage. You can apply the pattern intentionally, either to change it, leverage it, prevent it, or teach it to others. This is where mastery shows the pattern becomes a tool, not a trap. The 30-day operating, top operators run a loop. So it's a 4x4 program that we implement on a weekly basis. Key leadership teams meet together, and this is what they go through. This is a 30-day rinse and repeat. So week 1 is set priorities and KPIs. Week 2 is force actions. Week 3 is review reality. 4, make people decisions. And then repeat it every 30 days. What this looks like in practice, high-performing operators do 5 things rigorously. 1, scoreboard. Everybody speaks to the same data. Data matters. Someone say data matters. If you make decisions based on data, you remove your opinion. See, a lot of leaders like to get feedback from the people that they like, not because of the outcome that they're giving. And so this has allowed me to start to fall in love with everybody because I have different personalities that I tend to navigate through or tend to gravitate towards versus others. I got away from that. I want to see results. Show me the numbers. Numbers don't lie. Someone say numbers don't lie. 1 scoreboard, weekly review cadence, single point of ownership, fast correction, clear consequences. KPIs are not metrics, they're levers. The same 4 categories always matter. Revenue health, cost control, quality and risk, growth engine. If you're in business, you want to grow. Why do we want to grow? Because people that are talented want a compelling future. Inflation happens. The cost to operate continues to increase. So if you're not out in front of it with growth, then you're going to be behind. If you try to do what you did last year, this year, you're already behind. And so you have to master getting with your team on a regular basis to understand what's happening in the organization, seeing the patterns. They follow the same pattern. You create a new pattern. So you're replacing old patterns with new patterns. If you put people in the room on a regular basis and they go over the same talking topics every single week and they're looking at KPIs and you're making decisions from that place, it's going to be so much easier for your organization to be successful. Would you agree, yes or no? Yes or no? Awesome. So I think how much time do I have? 5 minutes? Okay, cool. Some of the things that I think are very important is complaints, reviews, and lawsuits. I mean, this is something that can cripple your business. Every team has 3 types of players that we like to look at. Some will say A players. We have B players. Some will say B players. And then there's C players. C players, they'll kill your organization. C players are water cooler gossipers. They're the ones that seem to just get by. They're not willing to go above and beyond. They're not willing to come in after hours and get the outcome done. For me, if I have a C player on the team, it's time to move on from that C player. And what I have seen by doing this, it has allowed my organization to thrive because now I'm building an organization based on people that want to grow the organization. And it's not up to me to grow the organization. I support and lead them, but they're excited to grow the organization because that's an opportunity for them to get more out of life. Does that make sense, yes or no? Okay, old model, solving everything personally, react to fires, carry the weight. The new model, design the system, enforce the cadence, develop leaders. Someone say develop leaders. All right. What changes everything? Pattern mastery gives leaders predictability, scalability, margin stability, cultural consistency, and time back. How many of you would love to buy time back? If you would like that, say, I'd like that. Losing both of my parents, standing next to them at their deathbed, what came to me was one of the most valuable lessons I learned in my life. Both of my parents had a lot of regrets before they left this earth. Both of my parents wished that they had made different decisions in their life. And I remembered when that happened, I said to myself, I'm not going to be on my deathbed and wish I would have done something great. I'm not going to be laying on my deathbed and say, man, I wish I would have lived up to my full potential. And so one of the reasons why I'm in business, and I think business is key, is because if you make money, you can truly make a difference and an impact in the world. And that is the very reason why I start to use business as a tool to impact as many people. And think about the lives that we get to help. 307,000 people died last year because of addiction and mental health illnesses. So when you master your business, when you master scaling, you master the ability to impact the world. Does that make sense, yes or no? Awesome. Complexity is not the enemy. Controlled patterns are. Business is complex, guys. There's a million things happening all of the time. And so when you can structure a business system that can truly make a difference, you already know the impact that you're going to have. You don't need better people. You need a system that forces better leadership. See the pattern, understand the pattern, use the pattern. That's pattern mastery. All right, anybody in the room, pull out your phones, please. Scale this. This is going to bring you to my Instagram. I'd love to partner with you. I'd love to collaborate with you. I know today the way to be successful is meeting the right people in the right rooms. And I've had the privilege and the opportunity to be around some of the most influential people in the world, which I'm super grateful for. And so I'd love to have that opportunity for you. So I've built a operating system program that any operator can implement and roll out into their team. If you have interest in getting that system from me for free, just DM me the word scale, and I will provide you not only with this PowerPoint so that you can use this to operate from, but my 4x4 operating system that I've created so that you guys can implement that to your organization. And then the last thing I'd like to say is I started a program called We Level Up Academy, and the pictures that you're seeing are kids that grew up just like me. Kids that didn't have the opportunities that a lot of people on this earth get. And so I made a promise that if I made it in life, if God got me through those difficult times when my back was against the wall, I made a promise that I would start an organization to go out there and teach young people how to master life. And so this is We Level Up Academy. We've partnered with quite a few organizations. One of the bigger ones, which is the top here, is the Police Athletic League. I'm actually planning on speaking at the National Police Athletic League Conference in D.C. We have events periodically with them. We're creating a mentorship program. And so any dollars that you guys have or invest in, I match. So if anybody in this room decides to put any amount of money in, whatever you put in, I'm going to match. And so please scan this. Anything can help. If it's on your heart to make a difference, if it's on your heart to impact the people in the world, please be a part of this. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for allowing me to share with you guys. Absolutely. Thank you.